We either get answers from them, or else you should stop coming here to cover them. I can open my trouser to show you. You know, it is sad. It is sad. We are being beaten by men in uniform who are paid by the money cut from our little salaries in the name of taxes. We get as little as they get. We don't care whether the president is Chagulanyi, whether it is Besigye, whether it is who. We are delivering information to the member of public. We've been your partners. Myself, I've been at one point I called a funding number to tell you to report a crime. But is this how we are appreciated? This is not fair. Before we listen to you officers, please answer us. How many are you going to beat? How many are going to die before we, before our children are orphaned? We are sad. I'm speaking this in fear, and I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. I don't know.
Your contract is really good.
My name is Abaka Gwa. I'm a photojournalist and work with the Daily Monitor. My concern is not so different from his, because right now we have a journalist who was shot at by a police officer in MASAKA, actually the RPC himself. And right now, some bones have been removed from his head and he's undergoing treatment. We are here, as you were talking, Afande, you said we call upon the media, we are all partners. We agree and we appreciate the partnership. But how are we going to work with you when you can't protect us? When we go out there to work, it's about protection. The terrorist that you're launching right now, the first bullet was shot to bring peace to the people of Uganda. There is freedom for media, and if media can't express itself, then why should we keep celebrating terrorist? We are the people who publicize this, and we are beaten. Of course, for me, I've been scared. Phone calls have been made. I don't care what happens tomorrow, because at least my case has been. I've put out my voice to you, and now what we are demanding for, we want the security agencies, not only police, because it's not about only police that is harming journalists. We want the security agencies to come out, issue a statement. Of course, they have issued other statements, but we want you to be on record. We have always been demonstrating, working to police, and as we are working for freedom of the media, still we are beaten. So we are sorry to interrupt your function, but we have come here to cover your function, actually, just like even after beating us, but to tell you that there is a journalist who's on crutches right now, Daniel Rutaya. We have Ali Mivule. His leg was beaten. Ashraf.
After 2018.
He's no longer employed. So we are asking, where's the protection that terrorists launched 40 years back? That's only what we are asking for. We are only asking you to release a statement warning the security, the police officers to please let the media work.
We don't want statements, sir. We don't want statements. We want
at least
that guy in Masaka should be behind bars.
Ladies and gentlemen, let us be orderly and get
Let me first respond to these sentiments. Let me first respond to these sentiments.
After as I conclude, we request that the RPC of MASAKA should be called to order. He should be arrested and he should be charged, because someone is lying in ICU. Actually, Ashraf is in ICU.
Okay.
Journalism
point
is not a
received.
crime.
Let me, first of all, I feel for anybody who is concerned that any life of a Ugandan is unfairly treated. I feel for that sentiment, and from my background as a freedom fighter, you don't expect that we pride in any situation where lives are lost or lives feel threatened. On that side, on that concern, we are on the same side. But let me appeal to you as compatriots. It takes two to tango. You, like us, belong to a professional family requiring professionalism. And my take on all this is that if we all care to stick to professionalism, these unnecessary, unfortunate incidents will be minimized. I don't want to see overzealousness among our own personnel, and that's why my department is there. And the record is clear. Of course, where we have come from and where we are, the strides are significant. We've come from a long way. And the emphasis was that you cannot have a military, you cannot have a state that is a threat to its own population. And our standards are very clear. We have had many challenges because there is no state in the world which does not get threatened. States exist because they recognize the issue of threats, both internal and external. And when you are mitigating some of these threats, at times there are operational challenges. Now, you who belong to the profession of journalism, you are much aware that when you are covering especially events that border on conflict, there are rules of engagement. And this issue of professionalism ought to be from both sides. Because rules of engagement, what I know from the little I have studied, are that if you are covering a volatile situation, you ought to identify clearly the side that may offer you clear protection. If you just mingle with a situation that is already volatile, it may be difficult to discern who is the main actor in that volatile situation and who is an innocent actor. So I am really not saying you are wrong, but I am only appealing to ourselves. Act professional. Even listening to some of you, the way you are presenting yourselves, I get an impression that you are moving into a different terrain of activism. And activism has its own dynamics. So once you are a journalist, prove to us that you are exercising professionalism. I have already regretted, and I'm saying, let us all, please. You don't need even to agitate, because we are priests of rights. You are really talking to the converted. But if you don't want to agree that professionalism will help both of us. On our side, we are asking for professionalism. But I would also beg gently, let's revisit professional standards as we do work. Whatever is happening and what you are raising, our two spokespersons are going to address it in detail. But what CDF of course indicated to me is that every event that raises public concern takes or calls for thorough investigation. And what I hear took place, I think this last few days, it is under investigation. And anybody, because we shouldn't also call for a situation where it's an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. That leads into a breakdown, and you can have an anarchical situation. If there is anybody from our side who has acted unprofessionally, we pledge to you that we shall come to the bottom of that matter. So I just want us to restrain our emotions, while really we also should really urge ourselves that we don't degenerate in a situation where lives are lost, where bodies are injured. It's regrettable, and some of us definitely cannot take pride in such a situation. So get our assurances. On the whole, everybody wants a peaceful situation. We are in an election which is being held in an abnormal situation. You are watching games in Europe. Games those Europeans used to have fun. You would see stadia full to capacity, people having fun. But now people are watching virtual games. Things are not normal. The problem we are having is that we have a situation where people are saying, for us, you cannot force us in living a new normal. The new normal is put on us by circumstances we couldn't control. So let's all not think things are normal. And as young people, really we think you should care about your country remaining a stable country where you can harness your opportunities and also be part of the global glory. But if you want to really ignore situations that can slide your country into abnormality, because we know very well the state of our health facilities. Recently, I understand you went to Murago, you saw what is there. But when you ignore all that, like what I hear, Electoral Commission stopped processions. But you find some people involved in processions. That causes a situation of confrontation. Why are people insisting on processions? What point are they making? What point are they making? You are here, you tell me. Electoral Commission says we have been guided by Minister of Health, no processions. All those situations which bring this volatile atmosphere are a result of processions. Can't we, for once, be patriots and say, let's have order, let's have stability, and the country continues? Because really, as you heard from the CDF, impunity is the last thing the security forces will tolerate. If you know the word impunity, please, let's avoid that and see whether we are not going to coexist peacefully. We shall coexist peacefully. We have a problem. Our society generally has not risen to the levels of being disciplined. In countries, for example, where these Europeans come, when they say, don't do this, for them, they are used to those standards. In Asia, you wouldn't even be having people being policed. But we don't appreciate the level at which our people are, and we want to endanger them the more. Let's appeal for discipline. Let's appeal for lawful activities. And when our people act in a rogue way, I'll be your side. You be assured of that.
last three. Lady, one question. My colleague, one question. And another one was not asked any question before. So those are the two, and we conclude.
Please, please. Come.
Ronya Harrington.
You are?
Ronya Harrington, France 24.
From
Ronya Harrington, France 24.
France?
24.
France 22. 4. Come.
Have any orders ever been given to target journalists?
You are a journalist, right? Have you ever come across something like rules of engagement? You have, and you know it.
You're speaking of in war?
In volatile situations,
Apparently, what about war?
you can have operations other than war. You can have military operations, but always there are rules of engagement. Even in a disaster, there must be rules of engagement. If, for example, it's a pandemic like this one, it is a disaster like landslides, you, as long as military and other security agencies go into operations, there must be minimum rules of engagement. So there can't be an order to target journalists, but the journalists as a professional group have know better than anybody else that there are such a things as rules of engagement. And I know you know it.
Last question.
So I'm coming back, but you know, the lecture you've given us is a lecture that is meant for the politicians, because as journalists.
But you are also talking as politicians now.
As journalists, our mandate is to cover what is happening. If a politician is holding rallies and concessions, for us to cover what is happening. So the security agencies should be at least, because for us what we are told.
Can I also ask you?
Run to the police if things escalate when we are in the field.
My son of Daily Monitor, can I ask you, when these people, like you are educated people, you heard what Electoral Commission put out before this exercise began. Now, if you see that there are politicians who are ignoring and defying those operating procedures, your own patriotic responsibility, how do you relate to it as a patriot?
We work under ethics in journalism. Our ethics don't tell us to be patriotic or either to be partisan. They tell us to go report nothing but the truth. We don't tell Bobi Wine or Mr. Museveni to gather people to go on roadsides. What we do, we go to cover. Let me tell you a scenario. Assuming we are patriotic as you presume, how about a police officer in the name of Baine, who comes at a journalist? You man, collateral damage, and throws something, and the next day wait for a police spokesperson to say, you know, it was hit by a UFO, unidentified object. That drama, the lines will only start. Chibadde chigambibwa, when your children will be weeping there. Tell us that you people don't cover, we will stay home. Oh, okay, you give us jobs and we quit journalism. We are poor people. Our country have failed to create jobs. Me, I would have quit long time ago. I was tear gassed as a boy when Kizza Besigye was announcing himself as a president. I failed to breathe for nearly 4 months. But I'm here to serve my people. We are stakeholders, we are fourth estate. We are working under specific ethics, but known to be patriotic, known to be whatever partisan, known to be politicians. When someone urinates there, it is what I write. He urinated, so long as I don't intervene in the security of this country. There is a full article in the constitution of this country protecting us. We have a Toothless Media Council that takes concern of registering us instead of fighting for us. People die. I found in a play 6. That's important. I'm telling you, I have a child. My wife is good. She's a 26-year-old girl. Put it on TV. My father-in-law is in Kawempe. You should know. I no longer play 6. I was beaten by people who are supposed to protect us. What's wrong when a LDU comes and I present my ID humbly? because, you know, people were rioting. I presented you are in a press jacket. You are battered by, you know, those black and human beings in our uniforms we pay for. For sure, we love you so much. We love this force. But one thing, we are there, fellow journalists. We did not get an apology from our officer. Let us walk away for once and for all. We shall come back. Let's stand in solidarity and we go. We are beaten. I couldn't.
Let me, before you walk away, let me tell you.